Hey everybody, good evening. Yancey Peterson here. Ride with Peterson. It's been a minute. Yes, it has. Today, it is Monday, September 26th, 2022. And the time for me is 8:27 p.m. Well, I've been away for a while because I had a full-time job. And I liked the job very much. I really did. But they found a way to get rid of me because, I'm disabled. I have multiple disabilities now. And I never thought it would happen to me, but it did. And it took me about a week to deal with the depression and the feeling of failure and really the feeling of being unwanted. That was the toughest thing because I didn't want to believe that I was unwanted. So basically, I was working as a security dispatcher. And I got the job kind of by accident. I gave them the wrong resume. I did not want to depend on my computer skills to get any job because my computer skills are outdated. But in a rush to be on time for the interview, I printed up the first resume I found. It didn't have my correct email address, didn't have my correct phone number on it. No problem. All the other information was accurate except for my skills. I wanted to edit out the computer skills. So I gave them the resume and they decided to hire me for a position that was more than a regular security patrol person or so. They wanted me to be a dispatcher. It paid a little more money and it carried some rank. I told them that, in the next 5 years, I would have loved to have been a supervisor, had more responsibility, more accountability, blah, 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 blah. He was very impressed with my resume, even more impressed with my response to his question. If I found a coworker asleep on the job, what would I do? And without missing a beat, I told him, well, in that case, I would relieve that person. I would instruct the person to go home, get the rest they needed, and I would take care of not only their position but my position, because I believe in the role of security in today's society. I take security very seriously, and my interviewer, who was the lead supervisor, he had never heard that response at all from anybody he had ever interviewed. That impressed him. I got the job. But I started to have problems. I was arriving to work late. And so I explained to them that I had a stroke, and sometimes it's difficult for me to wake up in the morning at specific times. It's tough for me to walk around the house to get ready for work. Sometimes my side locks up on me. I can't even walk. When I do walk, it's extremely painful. When I sit too long, it's painful. When I walk too long, it's too painful. I was in pain during the interview. I'm in pain right now, as a matter of fact. But I've gotten used to it because I decided to not let the pain on the left side of my body interrupt the best life I can live at this point. I would be able to do so much more if I wasn't dealing with the physical thing of the effects, the remnants of the stroke, you could say. And I had a choice to make when I was in the hospital. I could stay in the hospital, stay in bed, taking pills, sleeping my life away, or I could find a way to participate in society and contribute some kind of way to society. Besides, I got a lot of debt and I need to make money. So, hey, I got to do something. But really, the thing was, I'm not the kind of person that wants to sit around and do nothing. I got to do something. So I looked at what my abilities were, what my tolerances were, what I was willing to put up with. And I felt, hey, my last great hope is to be a security guard. The challenge was finding a company or organization or whatever who would actually hire me. And I would, set my anchor there, be happy for the next 25 years, save my money, and hopefully have half a shot at having a decent retirement when I'm truly no longer able to work. Unfortunately, it seems that day came a lot faster than I wanted it to. Anyway, each time I got to work, I got wrote up for it. And everything seemed to be okay, no thing. But then one day I was at work and I was just overwhelmed with the responsibilities of being a dispatcher. They got you doing a multitude of things and they want all these tasks done yesterday. And so it seemed apparent to them that I was unable to meet all the duties of being a dispatcher. Not only did I have to send the units where they had to go, but I also had to write emails whenever anything happened on site. I had to give access control to restricted areas. I had to follow around VIPs with the camera system to make sure that they were okay. So there was a video recording of anything that happened. I had to review footage of incidents that happened on site, and I had to do that on demand. So if I was in the middle of doing something else, I had to stop that, review footage, then go back to what I was doing. I had to fill out a wide variety of reports. And I had to do all these things simultaneously while keeping a very happy, friendly neighborhood security guard disposition. So then, eventually they started sending me on patrols. Then if there was any overtime that was necessary for remote locations that needed someone to work at, they sent me out there, and I was expected to patrol those areas as well too, and work overtime when available and when needed. One day I went to my lead supervisor and I told him that I was hurting, that I was having a very difficult time on the job. I was concerned about it aggravating my high blood pressure. I was concerned about it aggravating my depression. This is in spite of me taking medications to help manage those two conditions. I told him that the constant time shifting, because we had three different shifts. Three different shifts that I had to work. And, I was expected to come in on time, as any job is reasonable. Hey, you got to be here on time. But I had problems. And I expressed these to them. I was hoping that they would have moved me to one of the other locations that required less of me. But they didn't do that. What they did was they took me off of my assignment and put me in a sort of on-call type of position. So I would call and they would tell me, okay, today you're going to go to your primary location. Okay, today we need you to go here instead. Okay, instead of going here, we need you to go here. So I would type in on the phone and it would just simply say, time accepted. And I'm like, what's up with the speech that they always give before when you give it? It wasn't giving the speech anymore. I thought that was strange. So then one day I looked in the computer because they have a little app that they give us to check our work schedule. And normally the work schedule is filled up for the next 2-3 weeks. I log in and there's nothing there. No work schedule, no nothing. I'm like, what time am I supposed to come to work? Oh, just get here when you get here. It's no problem. You're okay. So we do that for a few weeks. And then one day I'm walking on patrol because my supervisor sent me out to patrol. And my side locked up on me. And it locked up bad. I was in excruciating pain when it locked up. Couldn't walk. I couldn't even stand. I almost fell. I had to lean against the side of the building and I called the radio and I said, hey, I need help. I need someone to come and pick me up. I can't walk back to the office. I was on the other side of the property. So they sent someone, came over, picked me up. The whole team responded. I was very impressed. I felt like I was part of a family. I'm like, this is it. I found my job. The last time I felt that good was when I was at Metro. And I thought I found my thrill when I was at Metro. And I tell you, it was very devastating when I lost my job at Metro. But see, the difference with Metro versus where I was working here was Metro had a policy in place that worked very well for me. And when I got terminated from Metro, I understood why. And I took it bad, but I didn't take it as bad as I did this job. I moved on with my life, and I fought so hard to walk. I fought so hard to move. I fought so hard to be where I am now after losing everything and then having a stroke on top of that. I fought hard because my goal was to get back to Metro, to keep my commercial driver's license and go back to being a bus operator. Because being a bus operator for me was a very unique position to be of service to not only the city, but the entire county of Los Angeles in a way that was very gratifying to me. I was able to help somebody in a way that really meant a lot to me personally and to the people who I served when I was a bus operator. I made it my priority to be of service, of premium service, best service to the disabled riders, because I saw how so many other bus operators treated disabled riders. And I said, I'm going to be different. I'm going to treat the disabled riders like royalty. And I'm telling you, I had people waiting for my bus. They would pass up other bus operators to get on board my bus. Those days, I miss them. I really do. And I do believe that even just saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening to every person that boarded my bus I made a difference in that moment in time to that person. I let them know that they mattered to me. I cared about them. Hey, good morning. Thank you. I made sure that I drove the bus well. Well, when all of the security guards and a few of the other people came to assist me in my time of need when I couldn't walk, I felt wanted. I felt needed. I felt appreciated, and I felt that this is it. Whatever they need, whatever sacrifice, whatever time, whatever I have to do to make it work here at this company, I'm going to do it. I made that up in my mind. But it seems to me that they had a different plan for me. Because, you see, my supervisor, first, they shouldn't have offered me the job in the first place. Because the job required activity that was aggravating my disabilities. That was the first thing. But they couldn't not offer me the job because I was fully qualified for the job. I was overqualified for the job. My resume was, whoa, why is this guy looking for this job? He could work somewhere else and do this. Well, it's because I wanted to be a security guard. I wanted to do something that I felt was important to me and that I have something to contribute to society. I can't operate as a bus operator anymore because my left side is too weak. I can't even lift the turn signal stalk when I drive my car. That's how weak my left side is. I mean, I try to hold my steering wheel and I'm like, I better not do that with my left side because I will lose control of this car. I have a foot brake on my car. I can't even use my left foot to engage the foot brake. What I have to do is I have to park the car, put tension on the parking pile of my transmission to use my right foot to engage the parking brake on my car, because I always engage the parking brake. I'm like, so if I can't do that in my personal vehicle, there's no way I can safely operate a city bus as much as I like doing it. And then, of course, there are the visual issues I have. And it's like, okay, me driving myself personally is one thing, but driving on the freeway in rush hour in Los Angeles, trying to get from the carpool lane all the way over to the first lane and then have to turn over my head like this, which I can't do. I cannot operate a bus. And then on top of that, got 75 people, 85 people on board. And I'm doing all this at 65, 70 miles an hour. Oh my goodness, please. They will laugh me out of that interview room, me thinking they're gonna put me in a bus in my condition. No, it's not gonna happen. Anyway, so I told them I was hurting. And I told them it was aggravating my depression and all like that. So they told me, said, we're going to find a new position for you. So what happened was they put me on this thing where I come to work, just come to work. And, I'm still got my report time, but I didn't get the speech. Then one day I called them up and I said, hey, am I going to my main location? Or am I going to this other location? Or am I going to the third location? They said, no. Today, you're going to go downtown and speak to, you're going to go downtown and be there. They didn't give me a specific time to report downtown. They didn't tell me who to talk to. They just sent me downtown. So, I got in my car and I drove on downtown. And I sat in the office and waited for about 2 hours. Then eventually they called me and said, oh, you're going to talk to this person and they need you to sign some paperwork. I said, okay, fine. So go downtown, wait. They need me to sign some paperwork. They didn't have the paperwork available. Okay, fine. They called me and said, hey, we're gonna wait. We're gonna in a couple more days, then we'll have you go downtown and do this paperwork again. I went downtown again a couple of days later. Sat down with them. They pulled up the paperwork. It was an accommodation form. They needed me to write down the workplace accommodations that they needed so that they could properly assign me to a new position. I didn't know how to fill out this form of what things I needed. And then of what my limitations of the work was. And then they said, oh, well, we need you to get a doctor's note. And the doctor's note will help clarify exactly what the accommodations are for you, so then we can get you to a new position. But in order for us to get you a new position, it's going to take us about 2 to 3 weeks to get you a new position. And and the lady who I was speaking with, she wasn't going to be in the office until Friday. That was last week. I say, okay. So, and mind you, I'm thinking everything is fine, everything is okay. What is the food I want to use to describe this? I'm thinking we are peach cobbler right now, okay? We just nice peachy. So I call. So I'm having an issue trying to find a new doctor. That's a whole nother video. I won't even go into that right now. So I can't even get a doctor's note because I don't have a primary care physician. So I leave a message for the lady in human resources to call me to advise me of what's going on. And then I ask in the message, do I even have a job? And after 22 minutes, this is the point of the video. I'm so sorry. Y'all know I like to talk. There's this nice little clause I'd never heard of before called no call, no show, job abandonment. I never knew such a thing existed. Basically, in a nutshell, if you fail to call your job after a specified amount of time, and if you fail to show up for your job for a specified amount of time, your employer is no longer required to hold your position. And what happened was, about a day after I left the message asking if I still had a job, all of a sudden had this big direct deposit put in my checking account. And I'm like, I haven't been to work in almost 3 weeks. Why am I getting all this money? It was great to see it, but when I did some math, I realized. Now, mind you, I'd only been at the job for about 3-4 months. It added up to all of my sick time plus my accumulated vacation time. I'm like, wow, I was thankful to receive the money. I was. But it reminded me of something that my boss told me. He says, you know what? Okay, so now that you're talking to corporate, you don't have to call us anymore. In fact, forget all about us. You're going to have a whole new position and you'll be okay. And, this isn't goodbye. This is, we'll see you well later, but this is not goodbye. Not by any means is this not goodbye. I said, okay, I believe that. But then they told me, so don't worry about calling us. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. One day, another supervisor called me to ask if I was available to work at this blank location instead of coming to the main location. And I told her, I said, before I come in, you might want to call blank blank and clear it with him because, he told me I wasn't supposed to call them anymore, that I wasn't assigned there anymore and everything was okay. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, I'll give them a call and let you know. I said, because if y'all want me to come in, I would love to come in because I need the money. Okay, I'll give them a call, let you know what's going on. She called me back in 10 minutes. All right, Peterson, you know what? It's going to be a negative with you coming in. Okay, great. Well, hey, just for future note, if you need me to come in or so like that, I'm more than happy to come in. Okay, well, we'll think about it. Thank you. That was the last time I heard from them. The call from the lady at HR, I haven't heard from her. What they did, they found a way to get rid of me without firing me and without violating any laws. It's called no call, no show, job abandonment. So if I try to press a case saying that they improperly terminated me, they'll be able to say, no, we didn't. Why? Because they can prove that I did not call them and I did not show up for the job. And because I didn't do it, I abandoned the job. And because I abandoned the job, we don't have to keep you around anymore. Hey, we did our job. We sent you a check for your accumulated money that we are supposed to pay you. And that's that. And then if I try to pursue unemployment, can't get unemployment because I abandoned the job. If I fight that, they're going to say, oh no, but you know what? We did have a reason to terminate him. He was late all the time. Look at all these times we have documented that he was late to work. We could have fired him for violating attendance, but we accommodated him. We gave him the latitude that he needed to get into work. You know, it took me 3 weeks to figure it out. And when I did, I almost collapsed. I invested so much of myself into that, thinking I was going to be there for the next 20 years. That was my plan, to be there for the next 20 years. Instead, they let me know that I am unwanted. That's what they did. They let me know that I am unwanted. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to invest my all into YouTube, and taking the advice of one person who said that I should develop a podcast. And I'm going to figure out this thing, and I'm going to figure out how to make social media work for me, because I live in the United States of America, and last time I checked, you need money to pay for the rent, to pay for utilities, to pay for car insurance, to pay for food, to pay for just about anything you need and want. The world is yours if you have enough money. I have assistants to help me with the rent and with food, but I need to do more than that. So I am starting over yet again. And I made this longer video because, let's face it, I've been away for a while, and maybe some of y'all want to check me out. Maybe some of you won't. But those of you who did manage to hang around long enough, I thank you for that, because I am back. And we're going to see what happens. But I'm going to take the gloves off this time and go for it, because YouTube is truly all I have now. and YouTube and social media. That's all I got. So not only do I want to do this, but I have to do this. I must do this. Whew. This ride is getting even more interesting. So here we go. There are 2 other channels I'm going to launch. Possibly a third one is going to be a little bit more controversial, but the one channel that I've been working on for a very long time, that is my car channel, and I'll start off with conversations with cars first, and then eventually going into the car reviews. That's not the title of the channel, by the way. The name of the channel is Car Guy Peterson. Simple, easy to say, and it works. So that's my car channel, Car Guy Peterson. And the other channel about the philosophical stuff is Words with Peterson. Ride with Peterson is the flagship. Think of it as like the Enterprise E. This is the flagship of my little social media empire, and I'm willing to see what happens. As y'all can see, I like to talk a lot, so hey, I think I do need 3 channels. All right, everybody, I look forward to your comments, your recommendations, and I look forward to giving you content that's actually worth watching, worth listening to. I'm going to work very hard to get this right, and I thank you for your time.